Good evening, everyone. Welcome to On The Rise. I'm your host, Mike Feinberg. With me, as always, my co-host, David Shore. Behind the scenes, we have Rise's founder and CEO, Armando Gonzalez, photographer, videographer, graphic editor extraordinaire, Gerardo Ramos. In addition to the usual Rise crew, we also have a few guests with us tonight. One very special guest that we're going to be having on here in just a couple of moments. Before I get to that, let's talk Team MMA just for a couple of minutes. As you know, the next Rise event has been announced, and it will be taking place right here at the Bamboo Room, downtown Lake Worth, on December 12th at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. But that is the way you buy the tickets, guys. So check it out, Rise FC. Get on the app, buy those tickets, come on out here. It's very limited seating capacity, so try to get your tickets as soon as you possibly can. VIP tables are also available if you like. Check it out. This card, it will be a stacked card. When I say stacked, I mean stacked. David's going to get to that in just a minute. But we've added a few fights, including the finale of this year's Team MMA competition, which of course is going to yield 5 champions. 5 inaugural belts will be given out that night for Team MMA. Trying to make something good out of this crazy 2020. So, David, tell us a little about what's going on with Team MMA.
Well, we got a pretty stacked prelims. I'm super excited for every prelim that's showed up, actually. I think we have almost a fight in every weight class besides heavyweight, and who knows, by next week there might be a heavyweight bout on the card, so you never know with Armando's skills of getting everyone together. And then we still have all these fights from the Rise Team MMA. I can't wait for that. We talked to everyone that's super game. David Bell, we spoke to him last week. He's super hyped up, and he has a pretty notable opponent, and it's looking good. I can't wait for it.
Right, yeah. I mean, I was kind of surprised when I walked in the studio today and saw something like 11 prelim bouts plus those 5. So, not all the fights always stick, guys, but we're all set with the Team MMA. That shouldn't be going anywhere. As far as the prelim fights, expect to have most of those fights on here, but you'll see it. You won't be disappointed. Make sure you get your tickets. We won't disappoint, guys. We won't. And so now, later in the show, we'll be discussing some other happenings in the world of UFC, boxing, and football. And again, we have a few other guests coming on a little later. But before we get to that, I mentioned at the top of the show, we have a guest with us. He was going to be in studio with us tonight. I'm getting the cancel notice. Okay. He's not in the studio just yet. He may be coming on the Zoom call here shortly. He's not on just yet. But as it is right now, I think what we're going to do is just jump to one of our guests that we do have backstage, talk to him a little bit about Team MMA, who we have back right now. We have Javon Green, and he is going to be in our super heavyweight prelim bout coming up there on the 12th. And Javon, are you there? Can you hear us? Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good. Wow. Doing pretty well. So you're coming on. You haven't fought with us yet. You're going to be fighting Alex Abreu on the 12th. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, man. I'm looking to get in the cage. COVID pushed my plans back a little bit, but I'm glad to see I got a fight, man.
Definitely perfect. And what weight class are you fighting at?
Welterweight.
Welterweight.
Oh,
So
it's written down wrong.
neat. That's what's up, bro. So you want to give us a little background on your MMA as far as high school, or where you started getting into MMA?
I started wrestling a little bit in high school, and then after high school, I got into boxing for about 4 or 5 years, and then I got my first MMA fight. But my first fight was a boxing fight. I took it just to take it, just to get on the card. But most of my fights have been striking fights. People like to wrestle me a lot, so let's see where this one goes. Hopefully he wants to stand and bang.
That's what's up. So as far as wrestling, at least you have the basics to make sure that no one can take you down and know how to sprawl and stay on your feet.
He can try.
You can try. That's what's up. And so you're striking your go-to?
Yeah.
That's what's up. So your main goal, so how's training? How's training going? You staying busy?
Yeah. I'm doing about 6 days a week, 2 days, half of those days. So I'll split up strength and conditioning with pad work and whatnot.
Cool, bro. And then your last fight was a TKO, correct?
Yeah.
And how'd that go?
It went good. I knew it was going to be an easy fight, to be honest. The guy didn't even really warm up, so I knew within the first three exchanges he was going to gas. But the first exchange, I slipped, and I got behind him and took him down, and I felt he was real weak, so I just ground and pounded him.
And do you prefer fighting a wrestler or a striker?
A fight is a fight, to be honest.
For sure. And as far as Rise and Team MMA, have you followed, or are you aware of how everything's working as far as it being on live stream on like the Roku app and all the exposure that's going to come with it?
Yeah, I seen it. I like it. My last fight, a lot of people bought the pay-per-view and they didn't get to see my fight. So hopefully this one goes through, man.
For sure. Yeah, I know that this venue is going to be really nice. So hopefully it's going to be a good turnout, and you know, you can put in a highlight reel for this next one because your last one wasn't on recording.
What'd you say?
I said hopefully for this one you're going to have it recorded and you can get the highlight reel on.
Oh yeah.
But hey, hold on a second. We got Rashad Evans popping on.
He's popping on now?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, we do have that special guest coming up now, guys, for everyone watching. And before he comes out, I do want to give you a little history on this guy. He's a veteran MMA fighter. He's having had 28 professional fights. In season 2 of the Ultimate Fighter series, he went 4-0 to take home the belt. Shortly after winning the finale, he went on to fight in the UFC, never looked back. He fought in the UFC an amazing 22 times. He beat superstars like Michael Bisping, Chuck Liddell, Thiago Silva, Rampage Jackson, Tito Ortiz. 2008, he ascended to the top of the mountain. He beat Forrest Griffin. He became UFC's light heavyweight champion. He's a friend of Rise. He's on here now with us. Please welcome to the show, Sugar Rashad Evans. Hey, bud, welcome to the show. How you doing?
How you doing? Good.
Good, man. Good to see you. Do me a favor, turn your camera sideways if you can so we can get a wider view.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, we got you. Sweet. Perfect. Now, I know David's got a bunch of questions for it, but just before we get to David, just wanted to ask you one thing. We want you to tell everyone watching the show how you got started in MMA.
Just something. When I was graduated from college, I just needed something to do to stay active, and I ran into some people who did what was called at the time No Holds Bar in Michigan, and that's where it all started at.
That's what's up. Hey, Rashad, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good, bro. Always been a fan, man. You're super awesome. So as far as your UFC career, what's one of your most memorable matches?
It's been man, I got a lot of them.
I know, that's for sure.
I remember there's they all were special in different ways. Even the ones that didn't go my way, they all were special just because of the whole journey that goes along with it. It's not so much about just a fight on fight night. It's more or less sometimes just how the camp went. Some of my fondest memories been some of my worst performances, but it's all part of the journey.
Sure. Well, then you look like you went against John Jones, who's the pound per pound best fighter in the world, and I think you went five rounds with him, right? And you guys were there the whole time, and he's super badass.
Yeah, and, I mean that was one of those experiences that was amazing. It was just just being that big fight card, being on that big fight card, and a big fight, big rivalry. It was deep, man. It was a big deal at the time.
And you still missed it? You miss going in the ring?
a bit, but I still stay pretty close to it. You know, doing the analyst work and
Mhm.
also working guys corner, but I miss it. I miss the competing aspect of it because, like I was saying before, it's all about just that, you know, spiritual journey along the way, and you end up testing yourself at a level that you just really don't anticipate when you sign that contract. And most of the time that, you go down a journey of what it means to make it to a fight, you find yourself just changing in so many different ways that you didn't really even realize you needed to change. But it all adds up in the end.
What's up? Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like to see a Rashad Glover rematch or something come in because look at that guy. He's 41 and just won that last fight on Saturday. So I mean, it just
Yeah,
shows you
he
there's not a no one's too old or too over the hill to do anything.
yeah, I know. He's doing his thing, man. He's a beast right now. He's catching his stride at the right time. He's finding that there's there's a hole in the light heavyweight division for guys with his skill set. Guys that have the ability to dominate on the ground with their grappling. There's a huge emphasis in the light heavyweight division with the whole stand up realm and everything like that. And a guy like Glover who has ability to land heavy shots but still have the ability to work you and put you in danger on the ground and put you in some submissions. He's going to have a leg up on these faster younger guys.
Right, like everyone's all excited about Israel Adesanya versus Jan, but I mean, you got this guy in the background, and who knows if Israel could even handle that if he ever gets to the ground, which it seems like it's impossible to get him down. But it'd be crazy to see him in a position against someone that's that skilled and see what would happen actually.
Yeah, no, it would be. Jan's tough, man. Jan's tough, but I feel that with Izzy, the way that he's competing right now, his confidence level, even his size, he's got some size on him too. He used to be that skinny guy, but now he's kind of filling out and kind of getting going into his man strength, and he's gonna be tough to beat. He's gonna be
I
really
know.
tough.
His confidence alone, just I love in general, just the aura he brings around himself, but just like how he calls himself, I'm the skinny guy, I'm the skinny guy that everyone can mess with or whatever. So I like his demeanor, and I think he's inspiring a lot of people to show that even kickboxing or whatever your sport is, you can come up and you can dominate another sport.
Yeah, I mean, and I met Izzy back when he was in China about 5, 6 years ago, maybe.
Mm.
And he was only doing kickboxing back then. And we were in China, and we were there for like some kind of special promotion, like one of their first MMA events there in China. And we were doing some uh, promotion and stuff like that. And him and I got a chance to get some FaceTime and train together. And he was telling me about his dreams and aspirations about what he was going to do. And he said one day he's going to be UFC champion. And at the
Wow.
time he did, yeah, he at the time, his wrestling wasn't, it wasn't really good at all. He was just a stand-up guy. But when I watched him do his thing at that event, I mean, he just had so much sauce and so much flavor with everything that he did. I just knew that if he mastered the ground part, then he was going to be a problem.
Sure. I saw Rumble Johnson saying too that he trained with Izzy and he knew that he wasn't a joke, saying he kind of kicked his ass. And Rumble Johnson's a beast in himself, So I mean, if anyone says that, if Rumble Johnson said anyone's decent, I'm gonna believe him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, before he's just a good guy. Like he stayed loyal to his team because, when I first met him in China, I was like, yo, Glenn. At the time, I went to my old manager, and yo, Glenn. I'm like, yo, I met this kid, and in China, and I tell you what, man, he reminded me of John Jones, and I mean, he's got some skill to him, and I was and I was telling Glenn that we need to get him over, and he was like, we tried to get him over, but Izzy was just true to his team, and he was like, yeah, I can come and visit, but I can't leave my team, and he was just a super humble guy. Even when DC was about to fight John Jones,
Mm.
I told DC, I said, if if there's one guy that you can get that may help you with some of the things that John Jones do, is Israel. And he's like, who's Izzy? And I was like, oh, you don't know about the style bender? So I put him on game. And even DC at that time, he's like, oh yeah, he's got some trick. He's got some skills.
It's crazy. So you've been training recently, or coaching. I saw you with Greg Hardy, his last fight, and you've been helping him out. And he gave you a shout out. How's that going? I saw that. I feel like Greg Hardy's looking better than he ever has. His last fight, I think he finished in the second round up versus that guy Green. And I think the sky's the limit for him. I know he went against some tough competition earlier, a few fights ago, but I want to see him. I think he's ranked 26, but I want to see him go against someone in the top 10 or 15, hopefully next, and give him some competition.
Yeah, we're moving in that direction for sure. With Greg, he's such a talented athlete, and he's a really fast learner. He's so fast at learning. Like his learning curve is crazy, and it doesn't take much to really get him to see what you're trying to show him, which makes it easy to coach him. He's super coachable, and just a very humble guy. So he works hard for me, and I definitely push him to the limits. I push him on a physical level, and I push him on a mental level, just making sure that I'm preparing him for the fight, and I'm preparing him for things in the fight that you really don't realize that you're going to have in a fight unless you've been through that sometimes. If you have one of those careers where you know where emotionally a fight can take you, then you can help guide somebody better on a mental and physical level where they might experience in the cage. And that's what we do. We just been just getting them sharp, man.
If you had someone to say that he would fight next, would you say, like, I was thinking maybe like Walt Harris at 11 or something would be neat,
Yeah, we're still looking for some opponents for him. We want to see if we can get a pretty quick turnaround. And because he didn't, yeah, he had to fight and didn't really sustain any injuries. God willing, God bless him. So we want to get him back in there as soon as possible, and we want to get him with somebody he's gonna he's gonna have to work against, because
like test himself.
Yeah, he wants to test. I never met somebody who's just so eager to test himself. And
Right. I'm sure
sometimes,
after the NFL, he's more inspired, now that they're on a second career to do something, and succeed that much more.
yeah, he's super inspired to go out there and compete, and he wants to test himself. And you know, s- sometimes when you train him, you can see him just kind of getting frustrated with himself, just because you know, uh, you know, the pains of growing. It's a frustrating task. So sometimes he'll want to rush the process, but we just like, hey, we're just taking our time with it, and we allow him to develop. But he's such a he's a really humble guy, and it's like he's a nice guy. He just we have a good time together training, man.
And are you training other people as well? You guys are working on a camp together?
Yeah, I'm training other people. I'm trying to be more selective right now, just who I choose to train. But my vision for training athletes is a lot different than the typical way. I think a big deal has been really made about having these big mega teams, and I like big mega teams, and I do think they serve their purpose. But at the same time, I feel as if like these mega teams kind of supersede the athlete, and then it puts the athlete on the back burner, and it makes these athletes feel that they're in a place where they feel constrained and they can't grow, and they get kind of stagnant, and they don't really get that one-on-one attention. So I like to do more of the focusing on just, having a handful of athletes and really just submerging myself in whatever they got going in their development, just making sure that they're growing on the level they need to, and, if they need to go to a few other gyms and try it out and see what they're doing over there, then that's fine, because I'm an athlete, or I was an athlete who got my biggest gains in my career from being able to go and train at places like TriStar and places like Grudge Gym in Denver and places like Albuquerque and places in San Diego. So um, I think that's what it's about being a mixed martial artist. You know, you go to these different places and you see what other people have to offer. You take these little nuances that you learn at these places and then you take it back to your gym, and then everybody grows. You know, so I like that kind of atmosphere for fighters. You know, and I'm not one of those coaches who just wants to, you know, these are my guys, these are my guys. You know, I'm hired to do a job for these athletes, and I get passionate about the athletes that I'm working with, but by no means I own their success. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm just somebody who helps them just achieve their best. And at the end of the day, that is what it is. You know, I don't get too ahead of myself, or I wouldn't get too ahead of myself thinking, you know, I'm some kind of, you know, guru or coaching or something.
Makes sense. So we would welcome any of your fighters on Rise. You know, we're going to be having pros, I think, next year, and we have amateurs too. If you have any amateurs available, but you know, anyone that you ever see fit to come on here, they're more than welcome to join us. You know.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Yeah, I was speaking to Armando about that, and you know, we'll work something out. We'll definitely work something out and try to see, because you know, it's all about these shows like this and these grassroots programs, and run the correct way, making sure these athletes have an understanding what it's like to be competing at a level, at a high level, and at a level where, you know, there's some accountability, you know, and there's a staff that's behind them that cares and want to make sure that the athlete's taken care of, and grooming these athletes and showing them how they should be treated. So when they go on and graduate to the next program or organization, they understand that there's a template of how they should be treated, and they won't allow anything less.
I couldn't say it. I mean, it's funny. I see you on interviews and I see you on TV all the time, and you seem pretty inspirational. Even on talking to you now, you're just as inspirational as I see on TV. So it's super
Oh,
cool.
thank you.
Um, but yeah, we have like a few amateurs that are actually going pro after these fights. Do you have anything you'd like to tell these amateurs on the way to their journey to becoming a professional that would help them, you know, guide them?
Yeah, you know, I always tell my young athletes, you know, because a lot of athletes they want to do this fighting career, and sometimes they don't realize that, you know, how hard it is on so many levels. And you know, it's an easy career to lose yourself in, and it's an easy career to lose why you even started. So why they're amateurs, why that passion is running hot, why they'll fight for free, they need to really write down and really be connected with why they're doing this. Because there's going to come a time in their career where it won't be so easy to wake up in the morning and do what they're doing. Or it's not going to be so easy to go in there and fight for free. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
they're doing it because they love it. They're doing it because there's something in them that's driving them. They're doing it because they got that warrior spirit that they can't get, you know, satisfied any other way but by doing this. And they really have to be cognizant of the why they're doing this, because their why is going to be their why when they're at the amateur level, and they're going to need that same why when they become pro.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Rashad, I wanted to make sure David had his platform because I know he had lots of questions for you. So he probably didn't even go through half of them yet. He's going to come up with some more soon, I'm sure of it. But while he's thinking of that, Rashad, I want to take you way, way back. Let's go back to your UFC debut. All right. And I just want to see if you remember how that was. And I don't just mean the fight itself. I mean everything leading up to it, not knowing the system, kind of getting into a new system and just not really knowing the ins and outs of how that worked. How hard was it to kind of get that level of comfort? Did it take a few fights before you finally figured out the system? And did it make it easier to fight in the system down the line?
Nah, it was actually pretty easy to fight in the UFC when I first started. And I think the Ultimate Fighter had a big hand in that, you know, because it kind of made fighting, um, you know, easier. You know, it made it easier to fight. 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 you know, less nerve wracking, and I say that because the frequency in which I was fighting, fight just wasn't. It was no big deal. It was like, like brushing my teeth or anything else that I do at a monotonous level. It was just, it was nothing to me. So when fighting becomes hard is when you become successful. When you become successful, then that's when fighting becomes a lot harder. And it becomes a lot harder because not so much that you're competing with the other person. I mean, your competition gets harder, but it gets harder because you're fighting against yourself. You're fighting against your last performances. You're fighting against all these expectations that you put in front of yourself. So that's when it becomes hard.
Gotcha. And I only brought that up because I was talking to Erwin Rivera just a few weeks ago, and his debut was, I don't know if it's unique in the system, but I think they gave him something like 18 hours from the phone call when he had to hop on a plane and actually fly out there and fight the very next day. And that's within a 3-day period of the call to being in the cage is really what it came down to. And it was difficult. And I remember when I spoke with him after his second fight, he lost the first one. Unfortunately, when he went in, he just wasn't really ready, prepared. But that next fight, he came back and he got his first UFC win. And he said, look, I understand the system now. I didn't get it the first time around. It was just brand new to me, just trying to figure all these things out. And I guess you sort of answer that right there by saying the Ultimate Fighter, I guess, helped
Yeah,
you,
it grew, it
helped you
grew
out
me.
with the system
Yeah,
a little bit.
it grew me big time. Yeah.
But I just wonder how the experience is with other people who haven't been in a situation like that, and they're coming from other local venues and they're jumping right
Yeah,
into
it's
UFC. And
it's it's um it's a difficult transition because there's things that you just can't quite anticipate, and what you really can't anticipate more than anything is just the roller coaster of what fight week brings, and the expectations that is expected of you that you so willfully do, but it's expected of you on a professional level, and you love going to these interviews and doing, like, the photo shoots and all these different things that you always imagined that would happen, and it's happening to you. And you just get so caught up in just the whole, like, oh my god, I'm such a UFC fighter. And sometimes you got to forget, like, oh shoot, I got to fight on Saturday.
right, I got it.
So as far as fights coming up, are you interested? What's the most anticipated fight that you're excited about?
Excited fights for the rest of the year. Oh man, who do we have for the rest of the year? Now that I'm thinking about it.
Honestly, I don't have it in front of me, but I know that Jan versus Izzy's coming up, and that's like the talk of the town.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think
I think that's coming up in, like, I think
they
it's gonna
said
be like a
January or
while.
March or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you know what I'm excited to see? I don't know when it's coming up. I don't know when it's going to be official, but I'm excited to see Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier go at it again.
Definitely.
I'm excited to see that, man. I'm excited to see, um, just how Conor's looking. Conor's looking massive, and
Right.
and Dustin Poirier came back, and the way he fought that last fight, I was just, bro, I was amazed, man. He's grown so much as a fighter, and I used to follow him a while ago, just studying him for whenever I had to cover him for the fights. But
Mm-hmm.
back when he was at 145, you can see that he just had this ability that his skill set was better than a lot of guys that he fought, and it could be next level, but he just never seemed to be able to figure it out. And to see him finally figuring it out, it's like, yeah, this is the dude who I thought, he could be when I was watching those tapes back in the day.
For sure. I think that after Connor beat him too is when he went on a super streak and he's been killing it. And then up to the Max Holloway fight, he looked super good. And then now, like I said, it's almost a new person that Connor's fighting. And I think that
Yeah.
Connor might underestimate him, in my opinion. I mean, Connor's looking bulky, but like you said, when you're beginning, it's a different kind of Connor we have now. He's more of a confident. Even though he has more money, I feel like he's not as hungry as he used to be. He's still hungry, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he's not the same as he was up and coming versus Aldo and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. I just know, I know that I think what makes Connor good is the fact that he's got this belief in himself. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of unrealistic in a way. If you know what I'm saying, like if you're looking from the outside in, you just like, how does he get his belief in himself? But he has this deep down belief in himself, and that belief, it takes him very far.
Right.
Um, so I think he still rides that belief, but I think the thing that makes it so that he hasn't been able to, you know, be consistent and be the guy that he was when he first came on the scene is the fact that he's just so distracted and pulled in so many different ways,
Right.
and
His business and stuff.
yeah, he's enjoying a life, and that's the thing about it. You can't serve two masters, and that's just the saying. You can't serve two masters. I don't care who you are. Either you're a slave, you're a slave to fighting, or you're a slave to the fame and the money. You can't be both at the same time.
For sure. And what do you think you're going to do with the lightweight belt? Like, I honestly don't think Khabib's going to fight again. So I think it's going to be Justin Gaethje versus
I don't
maybe
know.
Chandler or something. I know they got Chandler hanging out in the background, so I feel like that they're going to use him eventually.
I mean, I think it might be a four-way tournament. I think it might be.
Think you're going to do
You
that?
got
That'd be neat.
Yeah, I think it just might be if Habib doesn't come back, but I think Habib might be coming back, man. I've been getting this feeling that 30-0 has been really appealing, but I don't think that they would do it for dead ends means, meaning the fact that they wouldn't do it for him to come back and fight GSP. They would probably do it for him to maybe fight the winner of this fight, if Connor beats if Connor beats Dustin Poirier. I think
Couldn't
that
believe
would.
how dominant Khabib was, though. That was wild. I think he made Justin Gaethje look like he wasn't, he wasn't even trying that hard. You know,
Yeah, that
it was
was
wild.
that was that was bananas, man. And what was so bananas about it was just like I never seen a fighter to just completely like he had Justin a little bit tired in that
Mm.
first round, and he didn't even really shoot. It was just the anticipation of him about to shoot and having to defend it. It just kind of it made Justin like super tired, and I never like even seen somebody even be able to do that. But when you have the ability that Habib does to just you know maul you on top, and people feel that pressure, dude, it has to be something else. Which leads me to the fact that you know you got to give Connor some respect for his ability to be able to get up as many times as he did with him, and especially Ally Quinton as well on short notice. You know what I'm saying? These guys being able to get up like they did on Habib, damn.
No, yeah, and I don't think Al gets enough credit for going 5 rounds with Khabib.
Nah, Al sometimes can be forgettable. You know what I'm saying? Just because his name is not in the conversation when you talk about the top light guys. But when you looking at Al as a fighter, he's definitely has the ability to be one of those top level fighters. You know what I'm saying? I think with Al's like one of those fighters who, he's like, he can take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he enjoys fighting, but at the same time, he's not obsessed with it. And I think in
Right.
order to be at that top level, it's got to be like a bit of an obsession.
He's too busy selling real estate. He said he makes more money off real estate than UFC.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah,
I can tell.
yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, like going back to the Justin versus Khabib fight. I like how I think DC and Dana disclosed that he didn't break his arm because of his family was there, so they decided to choke him out so he could wake up and not be injured. Like to think of that
Yeah.
mid fight, say, you know what, I'm gonna spare him, this arm breakage, Or I've seen Khabib too in other fights, tell people please tap. I don't want to break your arm, To be able to say that in mid fight and have that kind of thought process is pretty wild.
It is, man. It just kind of shows like the kind of control that he has, and um, just his integrity as a person as well, too. To even think about sparing somebody's family's feelings when you're trying to, physically dismantle them, and they're trying to dismantle you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I know.
that's some compassion right there. That's some true love for humanity, and it kind of is it's kind of you know it's like one of those things, you know, we're fighting, but yet he has that kind of compassion. You know what I'm saying? It's almost oxymoronic.
Right. I had a theory that he did that just so he didn't take Justin Gaethje at a good tendency so that Conor would jump ahead of him. Because he seems like he hates Conor that much.
Yeah, Connor pissed him off, man.
That's one guy I wouldn't want to make mad. And he also has 21 takedowns. I think the most takedowns in a fight, in a 3-round fight, could be, you know, which is also shows how dominant he is.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a beast, man. But yeah, man, I'm gonna let you guys go, man. It's getting late for me, man. I gotta get some sleep.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, indeed. You guys take care, man, and we'll see if we can link up later on.
Definitely.
Yeah, Rashad, thanks for joining us. It was definitely a pleasure having you on the show tonight.
No problem,
Thanks
man.
a lot.
Take care. All right.
Take care. Evans.
The living legend.
There he was, man.
What a pleasure. Just to even talk about UFC stuff with that, and it's just like, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of speechless. It's super cool talking to him.
Right. You know, that worked out nicely. You know, he said some nice things. It was great that he had the time.
Like I said, this guy's inspirational just as he talks. Anything he says is just like you can write it down, put it in a book.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right to some other fighters. We do have some fighters that have been waiting patiently backstage. And right at this moment, we have one, and we're going to bring on Alex Abreu. Alex is going to be fighting Javon Green, unless I don't have that written down right, on the upcoming December 12th bout. We had Javon on a little while ago, and unfortunately, I had to cut him short in that conversation because we'd have Rashad jump on. But hopefully, we can get Javon back at some point. Meanwhile, we got Alex Abreu joining us. Alex, how you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm good. How are you?
Good. Doing pretty well. Sorry about the wait there.
It's all good. It's all good.
Did you get the chance to see us talking to Rashad?
Yeah. That's a cool guest to have on your show, man. World of knowledge right there.
Good guest. Definitely nice to see things from his perspective, for sure.
Yep.
So I want to turn you over to David. I know he's got some questions for you, Alex.
How's it going, Alex?
Good. I can't see you.
No?
No, it's black. The screen is black.
Huh. I can see you. You're looking all demonic over here, wearing black all over there, kind of shaded. So how's everything? How's training going?
Good. Actually, I just got to work now from training. That's my usual routine.
Wow, that's intense. And no hiccups with the COVID stuff, and everything's going smooth.
Not really. I think, to be honest, I think I might have caught it a long time ago, but I'm not sure. You know, it wasn't anything that I felt bad about or anything like that. It was just like kind of like a little small cold, and then it just went away on its own.
Yeah, it's like 90% of America says that too. You know.
Right. Yeah.
That's what's up. So this upcoming fight, how you feeling about it as far as confidence level and training?
Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm just happy to be back in there doing what I love. This year's been really hard. You know, I'm sure it has been for everybody, but for me as well. You know, so I'm happy to finally have something to focus on again and to be able to showcase my skills. I'm feeling really good about this fight.
That's what's up. And as far as skills, what's your forte? What do you like to lean on?
I've been working a lot. Ever since last year on my wrestling and my conditioning. So definitely, I feel like my style is geared more towards that. You know, the freestyle wrestling. You know, I still have my striking, but I'm definitely liking the wrestling a lot more.
That's good. And do you have a lot of good training partners?
Oh, the best, man. Over there at Young Tigers, we have a bunch of Cuban Olympic national guys. You know, my coach was a Cuban Olympian in freestyle wrestling. We have like various guys, they stop by, you know, like Baboon stops by there. So we get really good work in. You know, it's a good camp.
Sick. So if you could throw those guys around, you could throw anyone around.
For sure. 100%.
Oh, you train with Justin Starks too?
Yeah. Justin and I actually like him a lot as a training partner. Him and I have sparred a few times together. Really good guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a terrifying lightweight.
Right? Oh my God! When I see him, I'm like, man, I have no excuse, man. If you can make 155, I can make 155.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if I would, I mean, I walk around probably like 170, and that dude's a tank at 155. I couldn't believe it when I seen him fight last.
When I saw him, I'm like, holy crap, dude, that's an animal. But yeah, man.
His speed and striking abilities too.
Oh, for sure. He's evolved so fast. You know, since he came over to Young Tigers, I saw his striking evolve so quickly. You know, but he's really a hard worker too, man. He's one of the hardest workers in the room, definitely. You know, and he's dedicated about his craft.
That's what's up. So as far as you feel like you're good to go if you had a fight tomorrow, or what's your status?
Tomorrow, let's do it. If we had to do it tomorrow, I mean, I don't know about the medicals and stuff like that, but let's run it. Ready whenever.
Armando says Rashad said he's available.
Rashad? Oh, okay. Let's do it. It'll be a good learning experience for me. as long as it's still in the amateur record, that's fine.
That's right.
That's fair.
You might need to take some payment on that one, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's not a freebie. That's not a freebie. So, Alex, you know, I know you fought for Rise before. You know, tell us a little bit about the experience that you had when you fought with us previously.
What, say that again. The audio.
I said I know that you fought with Rise before, and I just wondered if you could tell us a little bit about the experience you had during that fight.
Oh man, it was fun, man. It was really exhilarating. Everything starting from the weigh-ins. You know, I had a bit of a hiccup with my first opponent, so then they were able to find me someone else, you know, last minute, and I felt like that was pretty cool on its own because I overcame a lot of mental barriers like that, you know, in the sense of, okay, from now on, I'm just going to prepare to get ready to fight whoever instead of preparing for just an actual specific opponent. But everything else, they were super professional, you know. The stitch, the doctor there, he got me stitched up after, you know, my injury or whatever. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, perfect. I mean, you got this other fight coming up now, so December 12th. And as you said, you don't really prepare for an opponent specifically, but do you know anything about Javon Green?
I've seen, I think I might have seen one or two of his videos. He looks pretty good, technically sound. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see how my skill set's gonna match up against his. You know, I feel like it'll be a pretty interesting fight.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that one as well. We got a pretty stacked card, so now you're a big part of that.
So. Oh yeah, for sure. I have a couple of guys from my gym fighting, so it's definitely the energy at the gym has gotten, you know, a lot more intense because a couple of us are gonna go fight that night.
Right. We wanted to bring Javon back on to talk to you. I just don't think he's backstage again. We had to let him go to bring Rashad Evans on. I just want to see if I can get the nod from the guys back there. Guys, has Javon come back? No, we haven't gotten him back yet.
What other guys do you have training with you?
I have
that's gonna fight.
Angel. Oh no, that's gonna fight. What's this kid? We call him Mexico, but they told me that they found him an opponent today or something like that. Who else? This other guy, Rudicel, but he's in the pros. He's gonna fight December 12th also. So we're all getting ready. You know, we're doing camp together.
Sick. What's up? You want to give anyone a shout out while you're on here?
Shout out to my coaches, Young Tigers, Coach Manny, Coach Tigre. Thank you for all you guys do. Shout out to my training partners. Shout out to my mom. And that's pretty much it.
Sick. Well, we appreciate you being on here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. We appreciate the time. Look forward to seeing you again on December 12th. Best of luck to you.
Likewise. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Stay safe. All right. I know we had a couple other guests that we're going to be having come on the show. Hopefully, we'll get them on just a little while. But in the meantime, so Alex, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see Alex fight when he originally fought for Rise.
No, actually, I have not.
Pretty decent fight. So we're lucky to have him back again on the card. Nice to be able to see him back on the lineup.
Good thing we got the Rise app. I can go back and check that out. I'll do that tonight.
That's right. Hint, hint. Rise up, people. Rise up.
Yeah, but he seems extremely confident. And obviously, his camp is amazing. If he's got Justin Starks and all the other killers there, so
Right.
yeah, he seems a nice dude too as well. So looking forward to that.
That's the thing I'm seeing. You know, a lot of these guys, you know, both prelim and on Team MMA, they're training with some serious guys at their gyms. You know,
good talent.
A lot of these guys been down here from South Florida, of course, and some of the best gyms being down here. You got some great champions, some UFC champs that hang out and train at these gyms, and you know, every facet, every available. You know, you got striking guys, you got pretty much anything you can think of. That nice to see these guys get the training that they need. Looking forward to this fights. Definitely looking forward to see what these guys can do.
For sure.
And as we mentioned, some of these guys are going to go pro, you know, shortly after. So this may be the last fight you see them in as an amateur. So last opportunity you may have to see them locally. So moving on.
Danny Sabatello.
For instance, like you just mentioned, Danny Sabatello, who he just got his win right in the Contender Series.
Amazing
Good
passion
for him.
too, right?
Yep, we'll be seeing him on UFC shortly. He was a guy that fought for Rise in the past a few times. And made his pro debut as well with Rise. Back at the time was called Underground. And wish him the best of luck, of course, in his future.
Definitely.
So we'll jump to some other news. Waiting for these other guys, but while we're waiting for them to come backstage, once again, just going to throw a couple things in. So in national news, I know I was just going to mention that, you know, although it's been 8 days since the election and the votes are still being counted, it seems that Joe Biden has won the presidential race here in the U.S. and Kamala Harris has become the first woman as well as the first person of color to win the vice president position. So, you know, congrats to both of them on their hard-fought victory. And also,
Did you rig it, Mike?
of course I did. And also, you know, longtime game show host and icon, Jeopardy host Alex Trebek unfortunately lost his long and arduous battle with pancreatic cancer the other day and passed away after a long battle at the age of 80. Our condolences to him and all that knew him and loved him. Definitely an icon that's going to be missed.
Sure.
But back to sports news. Want to jump to UFC for a little bit? I know you probably have a couple of headlines you wanted to mention.
The super exciting thing, as I spoke to Rashad about, is Glover Teixeira being Thiago Santos. That was unexpected because Thiago went to 5 rounds with John Jones in a pretty tough match. People would say that he could have won. He was coming back from a lot of injuries. He tore his, I think, LCL and all kinds of bad stuff when he fought John Jones. But 41 years old, Glover's coming back, and right now he's on the cuffs of fighting for the light heavyweight championship, depending if Jan is going to actually fight Israel Adesanya later in the maybe, I think, early in 2021. So that was the most exciting thing that I could think of on as far as the UFC card, for sure.
Okay. And I know I got some boxing news. I'm going to throw a few things out while we're waiting as well. And, you know, first I want to congratulate Devin Haney. You know, he had a hard-fought victory, beat Yuriakis Gamboa this past Saturday night. Youngest champ, still on his way, still making his way. And you know, with recent wins with Teofimo Lopez and Tank Davis, Loma still around, the lightweight division is really stacked at this point right now in boxing. Also, a congratulations goes out to Luis King Kong Ortiz at 41 years old. He got a 45-second knockout. I don't know if you got a chance to catch that fight, but wow, in the first round. It actually came by his forearm. It wasn't even a punch. The guy got to see birds, basically, and just went down, and that was the end of it.
Wow.
Didn't have his legs on him anymore. So 41 years old, he's still doing his thing, and I'd love to see him get in the ring with somebody like Alexander Povetkin. You know, 2 over-the-hill guys, basically, so to speak, in their 40s, just trying to see which one of those guys can come out on top and then maybe, you know, fight for a title once again.
It's like, what's the definition of over the hill nowadays, you know?
Exactly, right? It's all changed. I mean, like we're seeing what Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. coming back, you know, well into their 50s, looking to fight again. And
Right.
We know that Holyfield fought past his 50s. Hopkins fought past his 50s. And talking about Holyfield just before the show started, right? The guy's coming up on the cusp of 60 years old. And he said, I'll fight Tyson. He wants to keep going, I'll go too.
I wouldn't even fight Holyfield if you paid me any amount of money, I'm pretty sure.
But you know, I see that guy a lot. He's definitely the epitome of health and strength right now. Very athletic, always shooting hoops outside the gym. So even at that age, you know, he's still got it. That's for sure.
Sure.
And as far as a little more boxing, so Tyson Fury, he's got his fight coming up on December 5th, which is really just around the corner. He's fighting a guy named Ajit Kabayel. Yes, I don't know who that is either. Nobody really knows who that is. No disrespect to Kabayel, but this is really just considered a tune-up fight at this point. Hopefully Fury doesn't overlook him. I know he's got a pair of fights with Anthony Joshua going on next year. They're contracted already. The whole fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, third installment, we don't know what's happening with that. That's going to be on the back burner here for a little while. But, you know, just as I say in the same breath that Tyson Fury is supposed to fight Joshua a couple times next year, you know, Joshua's got to get past Kubrat Pulev. I was going to talk to Rashad Evans a little bit about that. I know he's got a business dealings with Tyrone Spong, and Tyrone was on the show not that long ago, and he and I kind of have a running bet going about that fight. He said there's no way Anthony Joshua's going to lose that fight, and I thought, if Andy Ruiz can beat Joshua, maybe Kubrat Pulev can do it too. Kubrat Pulev is taller, he's heavier, he's bigger, he's got a longer reach, he's got more experience. I'm pulling the upset. I'm looking at, if there's going to be an upset going on here before the end of the year, that's the one right there.
Write it down, huh?
Kubrat Pulev may be that guy.
Place your bets.
Not saying he's going to win, but I'm saying he's got a really good chance, and everybody's overlooking that man. Don't do that. He's only lost to Vladimir Klitschko, and that was 6 years ago. Since then, he's on a hot streak beating everybody.
Wow.
So he's also 2.5 inches taller than Ruiz. He's got a 5.5 inch reach advantage over Ruiz. A better fighter all around, really, in my opinion. Then you got undefeated former featherweight champ Shakur Stevenson. He's looking to make it 13-0. He's taking on Toka Khan Clary, another guy whose name you probably have no idea I've ever heard of before. But this is a battle of super featherweight southpaws, and that's going to be on December 12th. And Clary gives up a couple inches in height, but he's fought a few times at lightweight. He's a bigger guy, and he's also got a 4.5 reach advantage over Shakur. So you never know. You know, we'll see if Shakur can step up and fight somebody that size. And then the newest news that I found out about in boxing is Canelo Alvarez, you know, who was just released from his Golden Boy contract just last week. He's a week removed from the contract, and he's already signed a new contract for his next fight. So he's just penned his fight against the undefeated WBA super middleweight champ, Callum Smith, 27-0. He's going to be fighting him sometime late next month, date to be determined, but the contract is signed. It's going to be a great fight. These two guys match up very, very well. This is not going to be an easy fight for Canelo in any way. Matter of fact, Callum is taller, bigger, longer reach, probably a little quicker. So it's going to be, you know, can Canelo fight the fight that he wants to have?
Right.
But, you know, props to both these guys for, you know, to taking the opportunity to fight each other. That's what we want to see, that kind of thing in boxing. Just like the fight that's happening this Saturday with Terrence Crawford, the pound-for-pound king. Hey, look, you know, this guy's taking on his fight. You know, it's probably going to be a walkover, but at least we get to see him back in the ring. So, you know, this year we lost a lot of really good fights, but now they're all kind of coming back together within the last couple months of the year.
Didn't Mayweather said he's going to fight 2021 or something? Is that, did I read that somewhere?
Well, Mayweather's fighting Logan Paul.
Is that official still?
Well, it's official as far as I know, because I haven't been told differently. So that's still supposed to be happening.
Right.
You know, as far as his brother, Jake Paul, as far as I know, hand's still broken. They haven't come out and said that hasn't happened. So as far as I'm concerned, he's still got an issue there on that fight. So we don't know if he's going to fight on the Tyson Fury.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the Mike Tyson and Roy Jones undercard or not. But as far as the other fight, though, it's the one everybody's kind of more pressed about.
Right.
The Logan Paul and Mayweather fight. Yeah, we'll see if that thing happens. They say it's supposed to.
Never know.
I keep hearing it. I'm supposed to hear a date any day now, so I'll let you know. As soon as I know, you'll know, and I'll know. So let's jump to NFL. David, what's going on in the world of the NFL?
Miami Dolphins won again. I can't believe it. We're on fire. It's amazing. Tua's looking better than ever. We beat the Cardinals the last game. What can you say? I'm just impressed all around. It was more of an offensive game this time. It was a close game, 31-31 at one point. It was wild. Definitely a great game, and Dolphins are looking fantastic. Super excited to be a Dolphins fan again. Unfortunately, the Patriots, won this last game. I thought they were going to lose almost to the Jets, but we're still looking great in our division, and things are looking up, so I'm excited.
Yes, when you see the Patriots and the Jets going, head to head, and
close.
Not knowing who's worse.
Right.
I don't know what to say.
I know.
I think the division is the Dolphins to lose at this point. Just gotta push the Bills
we need the Bills, to trip over themselves a couple times, and we'll be in there.
That's what has to happen. So, definitely a fighting chance. Playoff bound, man. Playoff bound. Tua at the helm. You never know.
It's a couple nice runs he did too. He looked like definitely showed off his speed, put the turbo speed on, and he's looking great. So I'm
Right.
excited for sure.
What else in the NFL? You got anything else going on?
I mean, the Steelers are still on a roll. They're flying through everybody. I mean, I'm pretty amazed at what they're doing. I see on your notes here talking about how Ben has COVID.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't officially have COVID. I think his tight end had COVID, tested positive, and he's under the protocol currently. Hopefully, this guy pulls it out and doesn't have COVID, any symptoms, and he plays Sunday because they think it's like a 5-day grace period that they get until they play. He's my quarterback in both my fantasy football leagues, so I'm anticipating him playing. I got my hopes and dreams on him currently.
That was something, though. I mean, because Big Ben got hurt in the game this past Sunday, and yet still found a way to come back, and he still found a way to win.
That's why he's the best quarterback for fantasy football, especially because this guy, he'll fall down, but he's like literally like a tower. The guy will come right back. So
yeah,
I appreciate him for sure.
I mean, I've heard from a lot of Steelers fans that they're just not happy to find out that Mason Rudolph may have to take the helm. But you know what? Rudolph isn't that bad of a guy. He steps in the right way, especially if he's training with first team right now. If he's starting with all the starters, he can definitely put himself in a position. Look, it'll just be a running game.
It's not going to happen though. I'm pretty sure Big Ben's coming back.
Yeah.
All my bets on this Sunday. I need it to happen.
He always does. They say he's out. He's never out. He's
Yeah.
always back. But yeah, only 8-0, perfect team right now in the division, in all of football, and interesting to see if they can keep that going.
Right.
And they've got Cincinnati and Jacksonville the next 2 weeks, so it's not really hard-pressed teams. Although Joe Burrow's doing really well in Cincinnati, I still don't think Steelers are going to have too much of a problem against either one of these teams in the next couple of weeks. And you mentioned Miami. I thought that was great. I mean, Tua, had a lot of firsts in the NFL this year or this past week. So good for him to get started his career off that way.
And hopefully Tampa Bay turns it around after that loss to the Saints as well. That was pretty bad. Having Antonio Brown out there and Gronkowski and Evans and all these weapons and not be able to score a touchdown.
Anything with it, yeah.
All my friends at Tampa were pretty sad. So hopefully there's a good turnaround. And the Saints are one of the best teams out there. So hopefully they do a lot better the next game.
It was like having too many weapons, man. It's just like, I have too many weapons, I don't know what to do anymore.
Right.
I'll do nothing because I can't figure it out. But, I was going to mention in college football, I know we talked last week about Trevor Lawrence, the prospective #1 draft pick coming out of college next year, that he had COVID and he had to miss a couple of games. And he missed that first game and, my God, they looked like crap.
Right.
31-point favorites, and until late in the third quarter, they didn't find a way to even catch up. This past week, I knew it was inevitable to me. I didn't understand why Clemson was even favored anymore. But Notre Dame is a serious team. Ian Book at the helm, and I knew without Trevor Lawrence, their #1 weapon, they were going to have an issue, and sure enough, they did. So congratulations to Notre Dame. They knocked off Clemson. 36 game winning streak that Clemson had is gone. So Notre Dame is now moving up in the rankings, and definitely a team to reckon with. It's tough, but you got a lot more of the same stuff going on this weekend too. You got really big games that are being postponed or canceled simply because of COVID once again. We'll just kind of see how that goes, and I'm not feeling too strong about how the college football playoff is going to go here by the end of the year, because by that time, who knows where we'll be. The same goes for the Super Bowl. We'll just have to see.
It's going to be fine. We'll be all right.
All right. Well, we'll just think positively then. And that's it. That's sports news. That's all the news. We want to thank all of the guests for coming out with us tonight.
For sure. We
Special
appreciate
thank
it.
you to Rashad Evans for providing us some time. I know his schedule's a little tight. We were supposed to have him in studio. We're lucky we got him on a little late, kind of cut him off a little early, but we'll have him back on again. We'll have some of his fighters back on again as well. We'll have some more surprise guests for you as well as time goes on. You got to watch the show, guys. Got to watch the show. And what do they have to do, David?
Download that app.
Guys, make sure, like the fights, no joke. We have limited capacity at the fight. It's going to be coming up here on December 12th. Make sure you get those tickets. Again, VIP tables are available to you. Pretty reasonable price. Let us know if you need multiple tickets, groups, so forth and so on. We are spacing it out because of COVID. It is an outside venue, if you didn't know, because of the virus. We're going to make sure that we do everything in our power to make sure it's a safe event. So think about coming out. If you can't, you've got the app. You'll be able to watch it through Roku, Apple TV, things of that nature. But there's nothing like being at a fight.
It's true.
And actually seeing it happen live. So think about that. Jump on Rise FC. And that'll do it for us tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this Veterans Day, and to the soldiers currently serving in the military and all those who have served in the past, we really do thank you for your service. Have a great night. Stay safe, everyone.